Pretty good.
Go ahead. Sorry, Frank.
The sale of this house, as you've seen, has been very unique. It wasn't listed for sale. The owner was placed under a guardianship, and as such, the court had to decide what to do with the house. So when we offered to buy it, one of the stipulations was that we write a letter of intent as to why we were buying the house and why we wanted to buy the house.
We'd like to share with you the letter we wrote to the court.
We're Kristen and Hal, longtime Florida residents looking for a house to make our home. This is the only town I've ever called home, and while Hal moved around a lot as a child, this was always the place he came back to, with his family living in the area since the 1960s.
I remember as a child taking time to stare at the Mediterranean Revival architecture dotted throughout the county. My imagination spun with questions about the history of these homes and the people who lived in them. This instilled in me a passion and respect for the past, and I went on to pursue a degree in history.
Similarly, I've always had an interest in history. I was fortunate to live in a historic house for 5 years, which ingrained in me a love for the character and personality of older homes. Through that experience, along with my work as a museum curator, I've gained a sense of responsibility for taking care of that which others have created.
We've been looking for a house to buy for about a year, but had not found anything that felt like home until one Saturday, after visiting multiple open houses, we drove by a house hidden behind a multitude of vines and trees. As we pulled to the side of the road for a closer look, we saw only the white caps and red tile sticking out from the trees on an overgrown lot, and I immediately recognized it as one of the original Mediterranean Revival homes from the Rio Vista development of the 1920s. The house was locked behind a gate, and it appeared that no one had lived in there for some time. The vines and palms were encroaching, threatening the 100-year-old white plaster with mildew, mold, and decay. We immediately felt a connection and began researching how we could purchase this house to make it our home before it fell into ruin.
Together with the help of family, we tracked down the home's owner and discovered she had recently been placed under a guardianship, with no apparent family to care for her or the house. Her situation touched our hearts, and when we learned from the guardian that the purchase of the home would greatly benefit her living situation, we became even more motivated to purchase the home, and quickly. By purchasing this house, we hope to help the current owner move to a comfortable living situation of her choice, while also saving the house from quickly falling into further disrepair.
Our plan for the home is to rehabilitate it, keeping as much originality as possible and carry on the wonderful efforts of previous owners. With an understanding that time is of the essence to keep the remaining integrity of the house, and to expedite the current owner's financial security and comfort, we have also offered to purchase the contents of the house to make the sale as quick as possible.
We would be overjoyed to live in this home. Owning and rehabilitating this house will be a labor of love for us to honor the architecture of the home and the lives lived there. Sincerely, Kristen.
And how?
Come with us, and we're going to place our letter inside the wall of the house.
For the next people that buy and rent